Hello, welcome to our new Q&A series on WyzeTribe. My name is Melanie McSally. I will be answering all of your questions. Every Monday, we will be posting in the community tab. Engage with that post. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you would like to learn more about, what you have questions about. There'll be topics in those posts, and you just engage, and we will come back on Thursdays and answer the questions that have the most engagement. So depending on how much engagement we get, we might be answering several questions over weeks, or we might be answering your question in that very same week. So please do hit up the community tab and engage with those posts so we know exactly what you want to see us post about on Thursdays. Today, we are going to answer the question, how do I let go and trust the universe? So when we think about the universe, or even our spiritual team, our intuition, sometimes these things can feel esoterical, intangible, and they can leave us wondering um, if it's true or if it's false, if it's happening or if it's not. So I like to go back, meet myself in the area, in the arena of things that make sense. And something that makes sense to me is trusting people, right? This is something that either we give unconditionally up front, and they might lose or reinforce our trust in them, or we might be the type of person that requires somebody to earn our trust. So these are two uh, different ends of the spectrum. And so I'm going to answer this in relation to how you might think about trusting a human, because that's more tangible. That's something we can relate more to, right? So if we think about trust is earned, right? I want you to think about taking responsibility for trusting in the universe. Because again, this is something that's an intangible, and we might not know yet how to communicate best with the universe. And the universe is going to always look for ways that resonate with you. Like it's always looking for how to connect with you. And the more you see the evidence that it is connecting with you, the more options you open up for the universe to actually communicate with you. So, what you want to do in this regard is you want to start small and easy. For me, this is something like a feeling or an emotion, like I would like to have more joy in my life. I would like to have more freedom. I would like to have more connection and intimacy. Things um, that are easily provable. Like I can tell, I feel more joy today. I feel free. I feel this. I feel that. Like it's a tangible thing for me. And it's also tangible for me that I feel more than I did yesterday, or I feel less than I did yesterday, right? It's also something that you can actually see around you, right? Like I physically see joy. Seeing joy brings me joy. And so, you can see how the universe is bringing it to you, because you might not be the person who's actually creating the joy that you're seeing around you. So, if you're taking this stance of taking responsibility for trusting the universe, then you start with assuming trust, right? Now, I know that if you're in this bucket, then you're one that, earns it. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to assume trust on things that are kind of small and maybe not your big manifestation that you're going for. We're just looking to prove ourselves right. So we won't go as far as to say they're intangibles, but it's it's easy to say um, that yes, I see it, and I can confirm that the universe is earning my trust, right? So so to take responsibility, you want to use this phrase, everything is working out for me always. And how this relates to this trusting and how the universe is building trust with you is everything is working out to bring you more of what you ask for. So in this case, it would be joy. And so if I look through this lens of everything around me that I am seeing, feeling, touching, experiencing, smelling, knowing is bringing me more and more joy, then I can see the joy around me. I can see the evidence that the universe is working for me to bring me more joy. Now, you might be thinking, my life doesn't feel very joyful at the moment. I lost my job. I broke up with my partner. I played the lottery and I didn't win. Um, I asked for this thing and it didn't happen. And even in those cases, I want you to look through the lens of everything is working to bring me more and more of what I ask for. So in this case, it's joy. So maybe you didn't win the lottery ticket, you decide to play again, you go to a different store, and something happens in that store that just brings you joy. Maybe you find the love of your life. Maybe you bump into somebody who turns out to be a great referral partner and you end up with a new job. Maybe, you know, somebody just does something that's funny and it brings you joy. Or maybe somebody is giving out hugs that day. I don't know. Something happens and it brings you joy. Same with, losing a job or losing a partner. Maybe, or going through a breakup rather. Maybe, um, you know, like you weren't the happiest you could be in either of those situations. And the next one is going to bring you even more joy. It's going to bring you more fulfillment and more of what you desire, which is going to then bring you more joy. So I want you to look through this lens of everything that the universe is doing is bringing me more of what I desire. And then I also want you to observe your environment and how is it bringing you more of what you desire. And I want you to look for it. I want you to observe that it's happening. This is going through that lens of taking responsibility for building the trust between you two. And so when you're taking responsibility for building the trust, they are then earning it. And in this case, they is the universe. All right, so flipping it on the other side of that coin, trust is automatic and, they may or may not lose it at some point in time. So here you're going to take responsibility for your perspective. And the perspective is to help you not lose the trust, right? So if you're the type of person who trust can be lost, then in this case, if you don't get what you're looking for in the amount of time that you think it should be coming in, you might start to lose trust. And so here I want you to take responsibility for your perspective. It's the same lesson as taking responsibility for trusting, which I just went over in case you skipped to this part. However, you're looking through the lens of everything is working out for me always. My universe is always bringing me more of what I desire. So and I'm going to use the same example, I'm desiring more joy in my life, then everything that I am observing around me is showing me how to have more joy in my life. And when you feel like it's not bringing you what it is that you desire, I want you to flip on to this new perspective of it is always bringing me more of what I desire. And I want you to observe that. So you could say, well, it's not. And then you say, but it is. How is it? Look for what it is that you're desiring and how it is right here, right now. And you're always receiving more and more of it from your universe. And I want you to observe it, not look for it, but observe it, because observing means that it's there and that you're seeing it. Looking for it means that it's not there and you're searching. So I want you to observe. Now, um, as you're doing this and you're doing it with these small, easy to see things, as you're building this confidence and reinforcing your trust, then you can start to build out and build out and build out to more and more things, right? You can just like delegate. You can ask for things. You can feel a nudge and go for it. You can all sorts of things. But the more and more you trust, the more and more your universe uh will respond to you. Think about your friendships, right? And think about if you're just always asking for things and you're never reciprocating, you're never like doing anything for the other person, how long does that friendship last? Your universe is the same way. If you're just like, gimme, 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 and you're not saying thank you full uh, or honoring all that it is bringing you, then it's gonna not see the point, right? And so you want to observe how it's always bringing you even more of what you desire, and acknowledge that you see it. Acknowledge that you're thankful for it. And this is that whole notion around, um, you know, being grateful for the things you have. It's the cycle of abundance, right? The give and the receive, the reciprocity, the thankfulness. So you want to keep that cycle of abundance going. And so that's what you're going to do. You're going to, um, you know, uh, observe and honor and respect and have gratitude, and you'll see all of the evidence that your universe is always bringing you more and more of what you desire. Now, my last example is, I once asked my universe to bring me more and more freedom, right? So I did this process of the universe is always bringing me more and more freedom. And the very first thing I noticed when I asked for this was all the ways I was feeling constricted and constrained. Now, very easily, I could have been like, "Ah, what WTF, universe? Like, that's not the opposite of what I asked for." But what I quickly realized, because I was doing this exercises of how is my universe always bringing me even more of everything I desire, I realized that it was showing me how I was constricting myself through words, through phrases, through beliefs, through well, beliefs is all encompassing of everything else, I would say, but just these thought patterns, and so by doing this exercise of just looking through a different lens, this different perspective of it's always bringing me more and more of everything I desire, I was able to quickly see that this, in fact, because as soon as I shifted that, I had a greater sense of freedom and joy. And I kept doing it and I kept doing it. And it became so much easier for me to release old patterns and beliefs that had been stuck for a while, because it was in this vein of sweeping my street so that I had a clear path to what I desire more of. So that is my wish for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking to the end. And if you liked this video, then please do like, hype, subscribe, all the things so that you never miss out on a future video. And please do engage in the community tab and let us know what you would like answers to. We will be doing this every week. So thank you once again.